Greetings, Benjamin J. from Ben's Trains with another in the series. Well, here's the finished product. This was that double reduction motor that I just got running. And for the time being, I've dropped it into this 490 shell. And just wanted to do a quick follow-up video on this. As I always stress, don't overlook the junk. This motor was absolutely trashed. But rather than cannibalizing it, I put a few minutes work into it to see if it could be saved. This is the result. Okay, that's 50% power. So it was worth the half hour or so it took to get this running. Like I said, I had to use epoxy to repair the two stripped studs for the brush plate. And of course, I had to replace the brush plate and to do an E-unit bypass. But so far, so good. This motor is running actually really, really well. So a double reduction motor resurrected from the dead. Like I said, I just dropped it in this 490 shell for now. And then the next time that a metal locomotive shows up that needs a motor, this is what I will use. So it worked. And again, as I always stress, don't overlook the junk. You know, this thing went from being an absolute junker, and this motor was trashed. And I was going to use it for parts, and here it is mounted in a new shell, up and running. And it's just an old 490 shell, but it fits the motor, a double reduction motor at that, and gives me a running locomotive where this thing was literally going to be used for parts. So, a fun project. It only took, I don't know, probably 45 minutes, something like that, to actually do the repair and get this running. I still can't figure out what they were trying to do to damage it so badly, but in any case, I've put 2 drops of 5-minute epoxy on the stripped studs for the nuts for the brush plate, and did the bypass on the E-unit. And I have a new double reduction motor that is actually running really, really well. Pulling 12 cars, and I just, for now, stuck it in this 490 body, which is more than good enough. It looks nice, it runs really well, and saved it from being cannibalized. Like I said, I really, really hate to tear a motor apart if there's any chance at all of getting it running. And that's why it's important to have parts. One of these motors has enough parts in it that you can usually fix 5 or 6 other motors. So if you find a motor that you just can't get running, you haven't lost anything. Just tear it apart and use the parts. And like I said, out of one motor, there's enough parts to get 5 or 6 more, sometimes more than that, running, because no 2 of them will have the same problem. So you can use the brush plate on one motor, the wheels on another one, the armature on another one, the brushes and the brush springs on another one. There's lots and lots and lots of parts in these motors that can be transferred to another motor to repair it in just a matter of minutes. It's really, really straightforward, usually really simple. And in this case, like I said, I have no idea why anybody would butcher this motor so badly, and yet they did. So a few minutes work, it's up and running, and I have a new locomotive with a double reduction motor that runs just absolutely splendidly. Like I said, I will use this very likely when a metal locomotive comes by or comes along that needs a motor. I will grab this one, stick it in there, and then put this 490 shell back under the bench. But in the meantime, it's a great way to get it running, and it adds a running locomotive to your collection. And it only literally took a few minutes. Like I said, half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, to do the repair. And just replace that brush plate, a few drops of epoxy, and bypass the E-unit. and it's up and running. Anyway, just a follow-up video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.